Hi, this is Steven. I'm in Disney World, and everything is great when you play with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Isn't it great, everybody? Okay, I'll be back next week. Beep. That wasn't Steven. If Steven was really on the ball, he would have called and left a voicemail and been like, Jared, put this voicemail at the beginning of the episode. But then on the flip side, he might understand that I don't know how to edit audio. And so in that case, maybe that would be more difficult for me to edit it in Audition. But I'm going to do my best to make this sound good. If it doesn't sound as good as normal, don't blame me. Blame Steven, because he's off on vacation. And it's his fault because he's the guy who knows how to do the audio, and I'm just the guy who hits record and doesn't edit anything, which is interesting because we do have an interview, and by I sat and it's not even an interview. I sat and talked with Vanessa Joy. She's always great to fill in when Steven's not here. She has a lot to say. We had a great conversation about the Lexar debacle, only picking men. We had a great discussion about these pop-up weddings where people feel that they can go do whatever they want, wherever they want, even if it's private property. They feel like they're entitled to be able to just pop up, do a wedding here. It's okay. It's my wedding day. And I also have the Fuji X100 right here that I've been shooting. I took it to New York City, shot it around Philly, going to be shooting some bowling, just more candid photojournalistic stuff, trying to use this camera as someone, well, I can't say I'm trying to use it as someone who likes this camera would use it. I'm using it the way that I feel that works for me. Yes, you have all the manual buttons and dials and stuff. I've gone ahead, and I'm not going to give the review right now because the Vanessa discussion was like 40 minutes long, and this is going to end up being a little longer than normal, but that's okay. I set it up the way that I would want to shoot it, whereas I went ahead and used the front dial to control my ISO, because I don't want to have to change the ISO every time on the top dial. There's nothing wrong if you want to do that, because you have the ability to do that, because this camera can dumb it down to the very basics and fundamentals. I use the back dial to be my shutter speed, and I use the aperture ring to be the aperture if I want to change it. I set a custom button for changing the built-in ND filter, which is awesome when I want to do slow shutter speed stuff, but at f2. So that's been a really good thing. I put a grip on here, and anybody that's going to try and buy the grip, I bought a grip off of Amazon for like $34.99, and I bought it for the X100V or 5 because they said that the body of that and the 6 are basically the same. Well, they're not. So the holes on the bottom are not lining up the way that they should be lining up, and that's because they're different. So I was still able to use the grip, and it absolutely needs either a thumb grip or a hand grip because the camera just is slippery, doesn't feel great in the hands, just isn't ergonomically set up well, and that is what it is. I also put a Sony wrist strap on it just so that I could put it around my wrist in case I did drop it, which thankfully I did not do in the midst of me shooting at this point. But I will get a review up there. If Steven was around right now and not away on vacation for a week plus, it's not a week, well, technically, I mean, They're taking the right amount of time, but there's weekends, and then I think he's not back till like a Wednesday. And what I want to do is I want to film the review for the Fuji X100 6 because it was released to the public today. I've had it for a couple days, which has been great to shoot with. I'm happy that I've had it, been able to shoot it. Have a lot of thoughts about it, and I'll save all that for the review at this point. But in this episode, I've got Vanessa Joy coming up. I've got a little bit about Steven being away, and the big thing I want to talk about is I Googled myself, and I haven't done that in a while. So we're going to talk about all that. But let's talk about Steven, because everybody was worried, and by everybody, Steven was super worried about the baby flying with the baby. So he has a newborn, 6 months old. Is that considered a newborn? I don't know how many, I don't know what a newborn is considered. 6 months? I guess 5 months, 6 months is still newborn because they're like newish. The smell hasn't worn off, the new car smell. But he was super worried about flying, and I'm pretty sure that it went well. I'm pretty sure there were no issues that I heard of. He texted me from his free Wi-Fi on the airplane, and I think he sent a picture of the baby with his wife just sleeping and cuddling there, and she looked fine. So hopefully that wasn't a problem, and I don't think it was because he was really worried and concerned about it. But Steven is out. I did not text him. I will not be texting him. I will not be reaching out to him unless there's like a major issue or something, I guess. But for now, he's on vacation. So I won't be talking to him, and that's why he's not on this week. And I am flying solo, doing it all by myself. Except for last minute, I was like, Vanessa, what are you doing? You got some time to talk? And she had some time to talk. So we'll get to her discussion after we go through this this I Googled myself thing. Have you Googled yourself? I mean, everybody Googles themselves, right? I mean, I probably excited myself back in the day, or asked Jeeves myself, or Lycosed myself. Anybody remember Lycos? Hey, does anybody, what was it, Dog Share? Dog something? Well, all I know is there used to be a website called All for One, and you would go on All for One, and it would search, you would type in one thing, and then it would search 4 of the major search engines. Yahoo! And I don't even know, when did Google launch? When did Google search launch? 1998. Huh. So I was in school in 99 in high school, and I'm wondering if we Googled things back then. I know we went to Yahoo, Lycos, All for One, and everything like that. Anyway, so I Googled myself. I Googled Frono's photo just to see what was coming up. I Googled Jared Polin to see what was coming up. Of course, you always get the net worth thing. That thing's not even close to what my net worth is. I don't even know where they come up with this stuff. Then it comes up with like marriage status. Then it comes up with, is he dating anyone? I don't know how they would know that, because I don't put any of that information on Facebook at this point, because why would I at this point? At the very beginning, I used to put stuff on Facebook. You would do all that because we were like, yeah, I'm sharing about myself. And then you realize that all we were doing is giving them advertising points to help them advertise to us. So one thing caught my eye, though, when I Googled myself. I think I Googled Jared Polin, and it was from the DP Review photo forums, and this was from 2 months ago. And it says, I'm going to read it to you because I want to do live reactions to it. It says, Jared Polin going on safari dash, oh dear. And so this person, C. Sean, he's a veteran member with 3,661 posts on the DP Review forum, which means he's got nothing better to do with his life other than piggyback off of someone else's website and not start his own. But let me just read you what he wrote. Polin announced he's going on safari. I don't know, I didn't say Fro, though. Mostly people call me Fro. Polin announced he's going on safari by doing What's in My Bag video. He decided to take 40 grand worth of gear where most of it isn't needed or just useless. I think it's better to relabel the video as, hey guys, I'm taking sports and portrait lenses on safari, or how not to pack for safari. Fuck you, Sean. There's plenty of video and articles from experienced people who tell you what you need and what you don't need when it comes to a safari. Somehow, Polin didn't do his research. Instead, he's showing off the amount of money his gear is worth. Amazingly, none of the first few comments on YouTube pointed this out. Maybe because you're an asshole, Sean. Maybe because you shouldn't sit here and say, I didn't do my research. Okay, okay, Sean, that's a stupid, ignorant comment that you made, because clearly I asked people who have been on safari, what did they take? What do they suggest? And ultimately make my own decisions. So he posts my video. Thanks for the plug, Sean. That's great. And then he goes, if Polin asked me personally to review his gear, which I didn't, Sean, because you're an asshole, I'll ask him where he's going and if they allow off-roading. I'll integrate him into his lens choices and ask him to point out the lens intended for bird photography. Hey, fuckhead, I don't like shooting birds. I don't fucking care about bird photography. Yeah, take that. I don't care about birds. Oh, and then he did the stupid thing that commenters normally do. Now, I'll admit I didn't watch the video all the way through. Well, hey, C. Sean, what's the C stand for? I'm not going to say it. What? I don't know what it stands for. I'm not going to say it. Don't say it, Jared. Steven's not here to rein me in. And then I'm thinking, if I say it, Deb might get upset. No, Deb won't get upset. But I'm not going to say it, Deb. I don't want to get a text like, why'd you say? She's never sent me a text saying that. Hey, see, Sean, how do you know that in the last minute of the video I didn't talk about the bird photography lens that I took with me? You asshole. Anyway, now, I admit I didn't watch the video all the way through. I got to the stage where he's discussing all the bags he's taking and didn't see the need to continue. I'm under the impression if he's taking these items, they would be on the table. They weren't on the table, and so he isn't taking them. Oh, and then he lists a bunch of them. Torch or torches, e.g. headlight and a powerful ollie light. Very important bit of kit, and the latter may have saved my life. Well, no one cares about you, so we don't care. Binoculars, more important than a portrait lens. Oh, is it? Is it? When I've got a spotter sitting in the front of the fucking vehicle, you asshole? 2 spotters that know exactly what they're doing, dick. Teleconverters for his 400 prime since he isn't taking a 600 or an 800. Well, I don't use teleconverters, asshole. Why? Because I don't need to. I don't need to. And we'll get to the reasons why I don't need to. Why didn't I take a 600? Let me explain to the people out there on why I didn't take a 600. And I think I've explained this to people before, is I didn't take a 600 because I don't want to just take super tight photos. Oh, and to answer Asshole's question, C Asshole's question up above, he would have asked me if I was going to be on-road or off-road. Hey, asshole, we're in conservancies. We can go off-road. We can go wherever we want, which means we can drive up to the animals as close as we basically want. So I did my research and realized that I'm in a conservancy. So I don't need a 600 millimeter to photograph the penis of the elephant because the penis of the elephant is that close that I don't need a 600 millimeter. Oh, and I also don't care about birds. You don't know me. I don't care about birds of Africa. I care about lions. I care about elephants. I care about serval cats, which I thought were called circle cats all these years. I never heard of that. But when I got there, people said circle cats. I'm like, oh, it's a circle cat. Why is it called a circle cat? Does it attack in circles? Flamingos, they're birds. I got great photos of flamingos, dick, where a 600 wouldn't have been good enough. Which actually would have been terrible. So I choose not to take a 600 because I don't want to limit to everything being super tight. And why would I take an 800? I tried to take a 200 to 800, but the 200 to 800 didn't come in time. It came while I was away in Africa, and I'm actually glad I didn't have it because it would have taken away from me using my other stuff. And then he goes, on-camera flash. What's the point of taking all those lenses with so much overlap and not take a flash? Because I didn't want to take a flash? Because I don't take a flash anywhere. I don't want a flash. Then he lists 100 to 500, 100 to 400, or the 200 to 400. Better than the 100 to 300. Wrong, asshole. 100 to 500, I'm not a fan of. Also, it's a variable aperture lens. 100 to 400, I'm not a fan of. I don't need that when I have a 400 2.8 and a 100 to 300 and a 24 to 105. So I cover the range. 24 to 105, 100 to 300, and a 400. So most of the time, I had a 100 to 300 on an R3, and I had a 400 2.8 on the other R3, and it worked extremely well. So sometimes, I don't like a 200 to 400 because I don't like the f4. I just don't like that lens. That's my choice. I don't like it. You can choose to take whatever you want on the road with you. You can take a Fuji X106 for all I care and get really shitty photos on a safari because it's not the right tool for the job no matter what. So a 100 to 500, no. I don't want a mega zoom. There's a quality difference between a 100 to 300 2.8 and a 100 to 400 and a 100 to 500, 4.5 to 6.3 or 7.1 or whatever it is. Not worth it. And he's telling me what's better. I wonder if this guy's ever been on a safari. Polin, I do hope your safari is off-road and you're not taking pictures of birds. Otherwise, you lost a lot of potential shots. It also proves the criticism that YouTube stars wave all of this expensive gear in our faces, but they don't own it or need it. Well, asshole, I spent 10 grand on that 100 to 300 and bought it myself, and I've been totally transparent throughout the years on where most of the gear comes from. I used to own a lot of it. Now I don't need to own it because the companies send it because it's good to have it in my hands so other people can see what I'm using. So yeah, the 2 R3s I took, I don't own it. 28 to 70, I don't own it. 400 2.8, I own it. That was one of those Fun Day photographer lenses that came in the mail from Canon. And I'm very thankful, and I've given away like a bunch of those to people. Anyway, so he goes, since Polin is boasting about 40 grand, I'm not boasting about it. I'm just adding it up. 40 grand of gear. Here is a credible list of gear for 20 grand and is perfect for a safari. Okay, 2 Nikon Z8s. 100 to 400, 600 or 800. Money left over for a Z5, which is fucking stupid, and a 24 to 70 F4 or 24 to 120, which is fucking stupid. You are an asshole, Sean C. I could do a list for 10 grand or less for Canon. Canon R6 times 2, could be the Mark II. 100 to 500, the compact 800, which is an F11. You are dumb. You're dumb as dog shit, dude. Come on my show and talk to me about this. Like, I love when people spout out off at the mouth and have no clue what they're talking about. And then he goes on, most people take one body and one lens, sometimes two. Somehow Polin's taking 3 bodies and forgot a long reach lens. I also hope where he's staying is fenced off. Otherwise, a torch here would be more handy than a purple t-shirt. Ooh, resorting to personal attacks on my looks. What a dumb move, dick. So why did I have 3 professional bodies with me? Let's see. I don't know, because the A9 III wasn't out yet and they gave me one to take on the road. So I packed the A9 III because the other guys on the road had 400 Sonys and 300 Sonys. So yeah, that's why I took that. And why wouldn't you take 2 bodies? Oh, that's right. You want to limit yourself to missing things because you took 1 body like a dumbass and 1 lens. Yeah, a 100 to 500 is going to cover just about everything you would need there. But then you wouldn't get those nice wide angle shots that I ended up getting with the 24 to 105. I got great stuff with that. If I had the 200 to 800, that would be a great safari lens, but it's still very limiting because it's an f8, I believe, at the long end. And there's a quality difference. I'm super happy with the shots I got. I'm really happy with what I took. Now, oh, wait a second. This guy has an album of photos. I didn't notice this before. Let's go to his photos. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. South Africa 2018, part 1. Let's see what he shot with. Oh, this is bonus coverage. Let's see. Oh, a shitty picture of a zebra shot with a Panasonic DMC GH4. Wow. Talk about the wrong piece of gear, douche. That's the wrong piece of gear. Wow, these photos suck. I don't like ripping on people so bad, but, you know, some contrast would be nice every once in a while. Hey, look, a cheetah running across the street. Not in focus. Why? Because he's using a Panasonic GH5 with a Leica 100 to 400. Hey, you got a 100 to 400 and you failed, Sean. Oh, his name's Sean Miller. You failed, buddy. You failed. Oh, look, elephants that look like they were taken with a cell phone. Dude, don't play with fire. Don't talk shit on me and then have shitty photos, dude. Let's see, what's his latest stuff? 2023, Goodwood Revival, shooting cars. Oh, look, there's a DeLorean taken with a GH5. Do you have a real camera, dude? You're talking shit on me and you're using a GH5 and you're going to talk shit on me. Let me keep looking at these photos. Let's see. Here's Africa Part 2, 25 photos. Amateurish and garbage. Good job, dude. You went all the way to South Africa and all you did was take a Panasonic GH5. Wow. What a mistake. What a mistake. Don't poke the bear. It's like going to a comedy show and talking shit on the comedian and getting your ass obliterated. Oh, here's Kenya 2016. I guess he went to Kenya. I went to Kenya. Let's see, what was he using back then? Panasonic GH4. Piece of shit camera. He could really use our Fro packs. Some better potential shots here. Still not very good, but better with better editing. So there's there's really not a lot of good stuff here. There's some really bad stuff. I'm glad that the torchlight saved his life. Can I stop ripping on his terrible work now? Because it's very upsetting to look at his really terrible work. Anyway, so that's just a guy telling me that I made all the wrong decisions. And then you go and read the comments. It's really good. Looks like he's going there to start his own store. Could it be that his primary goal was to get views? Your thread proves the point. Too much stuff. Pick a body. Pick a couple lenses. Bring spare batteries and memory cards. Have fun. And then someone else wrote, skip that one. And then this guy, Bodeswell, wrote, lots of folks busting on poor Jared. No, I'm not poor. I have a Porsche. I don't have a Porsche. I got 5 houses, though. Most people take one body and one lens, sometimes 2. He put that in quotes. So let's see. He put that in quotes. And he goes, most people don't make a nice living reviewing camera gear and don't have $60K worth of gear that they can create reviews for while also taking some personal pics. Didn't sound like his first safari. Well, it was my first safari. He's traveling with some other photographers. Yep. And one of the people a bunch of the people I went with had already been there before. So I could ask firsthand what their experience was. And one of the guys is, one takeaway that the guy had after the fact was he wishes that he shot a little wider sometimes, which was what I went in with the thought of, that I want to make sure I shoot wider. He's traveling with other photographers and he's combining business with pleasure. He explained why he's taking what he's taking in a 12-minute short video directed at gearheads like many of us. I suspect he knows what he's doing and he will probably have a great time, which I did. And then someone else, Craig, said, he didn't check with me either. I'd have to think he has his reasons for what he's taking, maybe business or pleasure. I keep an eye on a couple of influencers, and I get the feels that they take more of a different gear, or whatever. P.T. Barnum, someone else making fun of me, somebody else about sponsors. I just had a personal experience that really hit home on this sort of thing. Oh, no, I don't want to read that one. What about photo gear? No. He baited you? No. Yeah. Oh, and then someone else had a good reply here. I suspect anyway, there is the possibility. Let's see. This guy said, I suspect his sponsors are hoping that he ends up taking some awesome shots with the gear they provided in an effort to sell more gear. I don't have much use for his brand. Oh, thanks, Gary. That guy wrote, there is the possibility he's doing off-road safari in East African plains. If that's the case, I would think R5, 24 to 105, 100 to 300, and 400 2.8 would be perfect. And guess what I learned after being there for the first time? That I think a 24 to 105, a 100 to 300, and a 400 2.8 were the primary lenses I used. I used the 10 to 20 sparingly on the airplane to shoot some wide angles to show where I was. And I would have liked to have taken, say, a 135 1.8. I also took an 85 1.2 and got some of the best photos that I got with the 85 1.2 of those elephants in Amboseli in front of Mount Kilimanjaro. And so this guy says, it's actually a good setup if your focus is 99% mammals and wants that 2.8 look. It will also work in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. However, the setup isn't good if you're doing a typical safari, which I'm not doing because I'm me. Normally, you need a long telephoto lens and a medium telephoto lens and an optional body for wide shots, which you won't be taking many. It should be pointed out his video shouldn't be classed as education for what to take on a safari. I believe, what's the title of my video? The title of my video is What's in My Camera Bag African Safari Edition. My camera bag. Not telling everybody else what to do. Me. Let's see. The 200 to 800 lens would be good for him for a walk-around lens in camp if needed. He's doing off-road safari in East Africa. The lens wasn't out yet. The portrait lens might work if he's visiting tribes, which we did, which I didn't want to shoot. The ultra-wide can work if you're shooting stars at night, but you don't mess around at night on a safari. 28 to 70, why when you're testing a 24 to 105 2.8? I know this lens gets a lot of praise. Oh, that's a perfect question right there. He's asking why. Because I didn't know if the 24 to 105 was going to be good or if I was going to work. It was it just came in the mail 2 days before, and I didn't know how it was going to be. Did I need the 28 to 70? No. Would I use it next time over a 24 to 105? Possibly, because I like the 2.8. I like the f2 over the 2.8. Even for the wider landscape stuff, I still like the zhush. The quality of that lens is spectacular. So that's a valid question right there. Let's see. Other people. It's interesting that you continued to critique his short video when you didn't even bother to watch the whole thing. He has reasons for what he's taking. The video isn't about what some hypothetical prudent individual who is not a gear reviewer should take. All of the snarky comments on this thread about him seem, well, petty. No one is forcing anyone to watch his video. I wouldn't have even known about it if you hadn't engaged in a little YouTube shaming. That's right. Oh, and then this guy continues on. There's nothing wrong keeping an open mind or changing one's experience. I find it's better flaw than being a pigeonhead and stubborn. However, I would like to point out my follow-up post isn't a critique. I also watched the video the second time. Oh my God. His reason for what he's taking, which he didn't go into detail or failed to mention teleconverters, because I don't like teleconverters. Yet, let's see, the video isn't about what some hypothetical prudent individual who's not a gear reviewer should take. This is a response to that. Yet Jared Polin posted a YouTube video to share to his viewers what he's taking. Yeah, because I'm sharing to my viewers what I'm taking. I'm not telling you what to take. And then here's another one. All of the snarky comments on this thread about him seem well petty. No one is forcing anyone to watch the video. Actually, YouTube recommended me his video, and since I'm a fan of African safaris, I was interested. Well, you did a terrible job on your African safari, dude. You did terrible. You did terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, and then here's another one, and I'll move on. The guy's a complete jerk and very annoying. I would not waste any more of my time watching any of his videos. Thank you, with Shire Moonraker 59, who looks like he likes Olympus. Good for you, dude. Anyway, it goes into the normal fighting after the fact, but I just wanted to read that. Since Stephen wasn't here and this was more about me, that's what came up when I Googled myself, and that's what I got there. The moral of the story, either watch the whole video. If you have questions, ask them. Don't sit there and try to guess what I was thinking. Ask. Don't assume anything, because you end up looking like an asshole, and then you show your shitty photos that were taken with Panasonic cameras, and you should be ashamed of what you took. You really should be. If you're going to talk shit on me, and then you see your stuff, and I really don't like ripping on people. I really, really, really don't. But you're going to poke the bear? Anybody that looks at your stuff is going to be like, wow, amateur. Why are you ripping on anybody when you need to be working on your own photos? So anyway, I Googled myself. Now, I invited Vanessa Joy on to have a conversation. Let's talk to Vanessa Joy here. It goes on for a while. We talk about some good stuff. I think it's pretty good. And then I'll be back at the end to wrap up this week's episode. So here is Vanessa Joy. Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I just got a puppy.
That's great. You have 2 kids and a puppy and a husband.
And a white picket fence. Actually, it's not. It's black. But, we're working on it.
You painted your picket fence black?
No, my community only allows black fences. But I feel like I prefer that, paint it black. Kind of one of my favorite Rolling Stone songs.
Yeah,
so
but
we're good.
Did you have a red door?
I would like a red door, and then I'd paint it black.
No, I want a purple door. Well, I've always had purple doors because I like them. Are you saying that your community would not allow for a purple door?
They would not allow a purple door, nor would they allow a white fence.
They suck.
They do.
What are they going to do? Fine you?
Literally $500.
And you have to pay this, or else what?
Or else, I don't know, they'll fine you another $500.
And this is why you moved to Texas?
Well, a lot of things here are master community, which I like because there's a gym here and a pool here and all these events. And it's, not a trash corner on every other house because you have to keep your stuff in order. So
who does
it's nice.
This? Is there like an old woman that walks around and is like,
literally, yes.
Excuse me, Vanessa.
Excuse me
today that your hose was not wrapped the right way.
Literally. No, seriously. They're like, your garbage cans have been out a little bit long and you're not allowed to have your garage open unless you're actually physically in the garage.
Hey, you know what I would say to you? Fuck you, Janice. Fuck you, Janice. Go get a life. I wouldn't live in
Karen.
a community. Is her name Karen?
No.
No, because I hate that term,
I don't know her
Karen.
name.
I really don't like the term Karen. I think it's super disrespectful that
To Karens?
No, not just to Karens, but I think a lot of men like to use derogatory terms towards women, and Karen became synonymous with you bitch or the C word or something
True.
else. So they've just transferred the hatred It's just this, let's look down on someone and call them a Karen. You're a Karen. Oh, I'm a Karen because I was asking a question or I'm legitimately correct about what I'm saying. So you want to tell me that I'm wrong, and you want to just downplay me or disrespect me by calling me that.
That's just society in general, whether it's cancel culture or a sense of entitlement, which reminds me of a thing I recently became aware of in the wedding community, which was really, it pissed me off to no end.
Oh, we'll get, is that what you told me about, and we'll get to that, or is this
It is.
different?
It is what I told you about.
Oh,
so, foreshadowing.
We'll get to that in a second. You look different. Is your hair red?
It's a little bit more red. Yeah, I got it done yesterday, so it's super dark and super red. It'll wash a little bit.
You can't see this, but Vanessa's got these bangs, and
they're super blunt. Yeah.
Yeah, she got some. I love bangs. Everybody knows I love bangs. I'm a big fan of bangs. Does Deb have bangs? Deb, sorry. Let me look at your pictures right now and see if Deb has.
You
bangs.
Don't even know she doesn't have bangs. I know she doesn't have bangs.
Let me see.
But she's a brunette, and
is
you're
she?
A brunette fan.
She is a brunette. I seem to navigate towards the brunettes.
You do.
She doesn't need bangs. She looks great just the way she is. Look at that. Look at that smile.
She's so pretty.
Look at that. Wow. Yeah, she doesn't need bangs. And then look at the guy next to her.
That is unfortunate. I should talk to her about that.
About me?
About you.
You shouldn't talk to her.
I got to give her all the warnings.
Yeah? All the warnings?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, you do that. You give her all the warnings. But I just figured I'd point out that your hair is very lovely today.
Thank you.
You're looking very Texan-y.
I have boots on and everything today.
That's terrible. So how does it feel to fill in? You're not filling in for Steven. You're just coming on board to say hi because we haven't talked in a while, and people like to hear what women have to say every once in a while. Sometimes we say smart things.
Wait, which reminds me, have you heard about the fiasco?
Well, I was just gonna ask you, are you allowed to talk about memory cards?
Yes.
Because that's what I was gonna. That was like, oh, that's a good. We didn't even talk about this beforehand. I was like,
no.
So Lexar announces the Lexar professional people,
elite ambassadors,
and there were what, 9 of them?
I didn't actually see the
7
original post.
I don't know. There was like, and they're all men. Go ahead, you talk about it.
So it's interesting for me to talk about it, and to be honest, I don't know how I feel yet. I tend to very much separate personal and business. I don't like bringing emotions into, or personal whatever, into business relationships. So Lexar not only announced these global ambassadors, and for the record, I've worked with Lexar before. They've sponsored things on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram. I know they've worked with another Canon girl, Kelsey Johnson. And so they have women that they work with, but they put together this elite team of global ambassadors, and it happened to be all men and also no Black or people of color. Yeah. There was, I think, a Latino in there. And obviously, like, the world freaks out about that. And
no, does the world freak out about that, or do a few people freak out about that?
Half the world. We'll say half the world freaks out about it. I tend to err on the side of, you know what? People make mistakes. And I don't think we should all be canceled for every mistake that we make. I think you should be given the opportunity to make it right. And they did do that. Because I had a meeting with them yesterday about becoming a global ambassador.
Well, no, see, but what did they say? Are you going to do it? They're like, hey, so we need some women on this list. Why don't we call Vanessa Joy? We quickly Googled women. Let me Google women photographers.
Fun.
Let's see. Women, since I'm talking about Googling myself today, women photographers. Let's see what comes up. 5 female photographers on capturing beautiful wildlife. Leading women photographers. Women boudoir. Maternity. Oh, those are ads. Oh, Diane Arbus. Cindy Sherman.
There's no way
Dorothea
I'm coming
Lange.
up, that's for sure.
These are all Annie Leibovitz, Vivian Mayer. It's funny how Vivian Mayer ends up there after being obscure forever. But I guess I should type in current women photographers.
Yeah.
Annie Leibovitz. Top 10 female photographers you should know in 2024. Let's see. What does Petapixel have to say about this?
Definitely not me.
At a glance. Sarah Van Riege. Landscape photographer Tara Workman. So
You know, I have to talk about this because you're doing something that is proving the point that there are a bazillion and a half women photographers out there, or people of color photographers out there. And why did they call me? The truth is they called me because somebody that knows me and I've had a relationship for the past decade recommended me to them when all this went on. And there's about 1,300 comments on an Instagram post of Lexar's regarding that, and lots of people recommending different women photographers. And there's millions out there. And quite frankly, millions that are better than me. But why am I recommended? Because I've built relationships and I've worked for a really long time at building those relationships.
But
and
why did they call you in the first place?
That is a mistake on their part, for sure. And not me, but any woman. And,
well,
you know, I spoke to Roberto Valenzuela, is the guy who recommended me. I spoke to him and he's like, look, the team that did this, like, they're really good people. They're not women haters. They're not, it was just like an oversight and a stupid one and one that shouldn't be made, but you know, they're happy to fix it. And I'm just in the position right now of like, do I want to be the person that checks a box off? Or,
how much is the check? Because that you got to now, how much are the men getting paid and how much should the women? Women should definitely get 70% of what the men get, right?
Obviously. No, they base it on your actual following. And, you know, they look at you as a channel and how many people are you reaching, and they base it on that, which I think is perfectly fair.
I think, yeah, it's definitely a difficult situation to be in, but I love, you know, being that I called out Petapixel the other day, that Petapixel puts out an article about this. And it's funny because you do read the comments and then the people are like, it's kind of like Petapixel. Do you have any female writers?
Oh, crap. Do they?
I don't think they have any female writers that I know of. And I don't know, and, you know, like any non-white people. They have Canadians. But then, you know, then I turn the lens on me and it's like, well, I've got me, I've got Steven, who's been with me for 10 years, and I've got Dan. Now,
all white men.
Dan's questionable. Dan checks a box, a different type of box. I don't know what box that is, but Dan checks a box. He's unique. And it's not like you put out a job list. I mean, Dan's been with me for like 7 or 8 years, and Steven's been with me for like a decade at this point. And it's not like you turn down employee opportunities to hire someone. I would gladly have a woman work for me. I don't give a shit.
And then it's also the people that end up in your circle. So, you know, just like you just Googled and got however many women photographers out there, it's the same thing when I need to go hire someone. Like, I'm going to reach out to the people that I know first, the people that I trust, that are in my circle, that I'm going to have recommendations for. And, you know, if I look at the people that I work with, it's actually super diverse, but it just happens to be the people that are in the area. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm not going to say like, oh, I intentionally made sure that I had a diverse lineup. It just happens to be the people that I'm close with and the people that are in my life, whether in the photographic sense or in a personal sense.
So I will tell you, there's something frustrating that happened during the last presidential go around, where
dear God, kill me with election years. Just
no, I mean, they suck. But I'll just say the Biden campaign was actively seeking women of color for specific videos to be made, but they were actively seeking, even though they already had potential people that were well capable of doing the job. So people submitted to do a specific task, but they weren't happy that it wasn't enough diversity. So they actively went out and sought someone else, which meant other people weren't getting the gig that were the ones that applied for it in the first place. And it's such a tough situation to be in, because I get it. But sometimes when you have the right person for the job, whether they're black, white, Asian, woman, man, transgender, doesn't matter, the right person for the job, if they've applied for the job, pick from that. But if you're actively being like, hey, you should apply for this because you're a black woman, you know, it just becomes like you are trying so freaking hard to check all the boxes.
Well, that's interesting. So with the Lexar thing, if you bring it back to that, how do you apply for that? Like they don't ask for anyone to apply to. They're reaching. Right. But how do you get to be the person that someone reaches out to? Like, it's not just because I'm a woman or I check a box or anything. It's because I've strategically built relationships for the past 2 decades with companies, with people, so that I'm front of mind.
You're saying is that many women are failing to do that.
Many humans are failing to do that.
It's humans. It's all of them.
Yes.
And I was hoping that was going to be the answer, because I was just pushing the button right there just to see what the answer would be. But no, it's
humans.
It's just what it is. There's plenty of women in the photo world, like the founders of Think Tank. She's
I love her. Diane. I work with her. Yeah, Deanne. I work with her. It's not Deanne I work with. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. I work with her. We do Best Buy educational retreats, and we, for like a whole week, teach Best Buy employees how to take pictures. It's so much fun. So I get to hang out with her.
I tried to get a job at Best Buy before I worked at Ritz Camera back in like 2005.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They must be kicking themselves.
Well, you had to apply online. And then you had to, and this was early online. So you would apply online and then you would wait for a call back. But it was like, oh, I'm sorry, your resume wasn't picked. I'm like, resume? I almost walked into the store and was like, why don't, like, you want me? Like, I know what I'm talking about. I will sell the shit out of your stuff in this store, but it's better. I didn't end up at a Best Buy anyway.
Of course.
But part of it was, I remember going into a Best Buy one day and hearing one of their employees recommend Ken Rockwell to someone. Go to Ken Rockwell's site. And I was like, no, don't do that. And they looked at me. They're like, who are you? I didn't have Frono's photo yet. I'm like, don't do that. Ken Rockwell doesn't know shit. Don't listen to him. Oh, well.
I have no comment. I've never seen a single thing that Ken Rockwell has done, I have to say. I don't actually watch YouTube.
Well, Ken doesn't do, he started to do some YouTube videos. Ken Rockwell is one of the nicest ADD type of people. He's definitely out there. I've met him and he doesn't shut up. He talks more than me. Aww. And he's just all over the place, and he's so genuinely kind. It's incredible.
I love that. But
I still want to rip on how bad of the content is. But so are you going to take this Lexar thing, or are you allowed to talk about it?
I can't. I don't see when I haven't signed anything with anyone. To be honest, I'm kind of toying between another storage system that actually. I like ProGrade, actually. I have ProGrade cards. I've worked with them as well. And then Other World Computing, which I really do like. And I like that they're a really older company and they have like NAS solutions and all sorts of stuff. So and I was recommended to them by another friend. So that I'm in a tough spot. I don't know what I want to do right now.
Doorbell. Hold on. I got to get the door.
Who's there? Okay.
Fuck. Now I got to edit this. Vanessa, keep
No,
talking.
I'm going to talk. I got stuff to say. Okay. So while he's gone, everyone, we got to think of a prank to pull on him. It's been a really long time since I put my afro on and impersonated him. So we need to figure this out, people. I don't know. Do you guys all listen to podcasts? I feel like podcasts have become, I don't know. I feel like everyone has a freaking podcast. I know Jared's had one for a while, so he's like OG, but everybody has a podcast. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to get into the thing that I wanted to talk about. And it goes along with the photographer's entitlement. I'm getting into the thing, Jared, now that you're back.
What did you get into?
I want to get into the photographer's entitlement mentality, or humans' entitlement mentality.
Well, I was going to say one more thing about you.
Okay, say the other thing.
It's tough to pick a brand to go to.
It is, because I don't like brand hopping. Like, I want long-term relationships. I want to work with someone for a while, trust them, grow with them. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I know that I saw Lindsay Adler was working with SanDisk recently. I know that another female photographer I know, Paris Vision, she's working with OWC. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there. So you want to,
these are my OWC cards right here, and yeah, they're great. I don't know. And then here's my ProGrade one, and then here's my Lexar one.
Cards. And so for the record, the founders of ProGrade were formerly at Lexar before Lexar sold.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, yes. I know Lexar got bought out, and some people have said that it became a little disingenuous. I don't know, like with the read or write speeds and how they were calculating them. I don't know. I really don't know the answer.
What happened is Lexar was saying that they were done, right? They were selling, they couldn't compete, or they didn't want it. It wasn't big enough market. So they said they were going to shut it down, and then they sold the name, which they already hurt the brand the brand equity by saying that they were done.
By doing that, right?
Right. And then it took them a couple years to ramp back up. But I was like, I'm not using this stuff. I don't know who they are anymore. This is another company took over.
A lot of people feel that way. But then I was talking to the guys there and like, yeah, we've been here since before the buyout. So it seems just like an upper hand change in management and who's writing checks. I don't know that it changes the integrity of the cards. But the cards are important, you know? I hate spending money on cards, but the truth is so many people will buy new cameras and then you don't upgrade your cards. And then your cameras don't work nearly as well as they're supposed to.
No.
Or they freeze up or something. I was actually having a problem with my camera freezing up. I had to get the circuit board changed.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What camera was that?
The Canon R6 II, but it was still under warranty, so it was no big deal. Like in and out of my hands in like 3 days and they fixed it. That's why you need companies with good support.
Well, it also doesn't hurt when you're an ambassador.
It doesn't matter. I'm a CPS member. Platinum member. You get free shipping there and back and rush service.
Well, that's good. So move on to the thing that's bothering you right meow.
Yeah. So I just did a YouTube video about it this week telling the entire story, but long story short, it is a trend right now in the wedding world to have these pop-up weddings. And pop-up weddings are like really small and you pick a spot and all of your friends show up with, I don't know, some flowers and their own chair and you plop down in the middle of a park and you get married and you're in and out of there in like 20 minutes.
That's
right?
some Xenial bullshit.
Yeah, well, fine. I kind of like the idea for the fact that people want smaller weddings. They don't want to spend a lot of money on it. And if you're going to a public, you're going to a public park, then great. And then y'all go out to dinner later, whatever.
I like that. I do like that mentality.
It's super cute.
Because I don't.
But of course.
Well, one sec. I don't like.
You don't what?
Well, I don't like super expensive weddings. I know that's your bread and butter. It's super expensive, over the top. Let's get married in Paris type of wedding. Mm-hmm. But that's what you do, and that's for the over the top people. And I have no problem with people trying to save money because I think weddings are a waste of money. And if the Xenials, millennials, whoever wants to just pop up video, show up somewhere and do a wedding, awesome. But then there's a problem.
But then there's a problem because we can't have nice things, can we? So a couple months ago at some coffee shop in Indiana or something, I don't remember where, a pop-up wedding occurred, but it was at a coffee shop that was a private, it's a private business, privately owned business. And it was in a historical building and you need permits to take photos in the historical building, much less also in that space, that coffee shop, they sell time slots for you to take photos there. This pop-up wedding happened. They all came rushed in. They made a mess of the furniture. They made it impossible for the customers that were actually paying to come in. Apparently, they didn't even spend a dime on any coffee. They were ordering the staff around, asking them to hold bags and things like that. And then to top it all off, after they have their wedding and the staff was too shocked and too scared to stop them because these people are working in a coffee shop. They're usually like teenagers or college age. They're not going to try to stop a mob that comes in and takes over the coffee shop. It's not safe, right?
If you're in Philly and you're two black guys sitting waiting for a meeting to happen in Center City and you try to use the bathroom, you get the cops called on you by the manager, who then these people get arrested for being black in a Starbucks. Even when their business acquaintance shows up, who's a white guy for the meeting, they said they were loitering and they arrested them. Well, it didn't turn out too good for Starbucks. This was a couple years ago.
I remember.
Starbucks had to apologize quite heavily, and then the guys didn't want to sue. They didn't want anything other than, I think, Starbucks to donate a certain amount of money to something. And I think that's what it ended up being. But that was just terrible. Go ahead. Yeah,
to top this one off, after they caused total havoc, prevent this place from making business, the photographer that was there, because they had a photographer, proceeds to do a photo shoot right in the entrance, like right in the doorway to the coffee shop, because I guess that was where the photos look great. And finally, the staff was like, hey, can you please move? Because people can't even get in now, in addition to wreaking havoc 10 minutes ago. And the photographer said no. The photographer wouldn't move. Like, no, I need 5 more minutes. And that's where I lost my mind. Like, a photographer, a professional, like, shame on you. You should know better. Yeah. Aside from theft of service, aside from photographing without a permit, now you're flat out knowingly doing that and telling a staff member no. Unreal.
What'd you look up? Where's this article? Pop-up wedding.
It was, I saw it on Instagram because the coffee shop posted about it. And they posted what happened. They apparently tried to get the actual fee they typically charge people for that. I don't know if they ever got it. It's called the Mansion Society.
Yeah, let's see.
Is the coffee shop. I have no idea. But the nice thing is people did set up a GoFundMe for them.
Yeah.
And provided them with...
Here, let me read you the Instagram post. Hi all, happy holidays. Today, 12/31, we had an odd... Oh, so it was on New Year's.
It was on New Year's Eve, which is obviously a busy time for them.
Had an eventful day at Mansion that we feel we need to share. As most of you know, we're a small-owned business. Small-owned business. What the fuck does that mean? That little people own you? I mean, we're a small-owned business.
They make coffee. They don't write articles. I just realized this was in the New York Times. I just saw it, New York Times, Fox Business.
Yeah, well, everything spreads when something happens. As most of you know, we're a small-owned business and do our best to provide the best service to all. Today, while our staff was expecting a normal Sunday, we noticed a downpour of patrons walking in. Soon enough, there was a full bridal and groomsmen party, a wedding officiant, wedding photographer, and patrons leaving personal items, including wedding gifts, coats, purses all throughout the coffee shop as they took over. A beautiful bride walked in and proceeded to have I wish she was an ugly bride, have a wedding ceremony with zero knowledge to us. We book for private events and are proud to host bridal and baby showers, engagement shoots, parties, and all sorts of private events. We book for private events and are proud to host bridal and baby shower engagement shoots. Well, guys, you did that twice. We are delighted to be considered beautiful enough to host any special event. The group of about 20 to 30 people continued to not only have a wedding ceremony, but take pictures, video, and block pathways for customers trying to enter Mansion Society. They were asking us to take coats, purses, and watch personal items as if they had rented out a private event. Now, my question is, I'll keep reading more. Do the guests know that they didn't rent this place out?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if the photographer knew that they didn't get the proper permits. Like, I'm trying to hope everyone was ignorant except for the couple, because they certainly were not ignorant.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We debated not sharing today's events and what to share. We are ultimately sharing to ask patrons please to be considerate, mindful, and consider booking for a private event other than showing up and taking control of our small business, little people, with no notice or any sort of monetary prearrangement. Thank you to all who took time to read this. With love and respect, the Mansion Society fam. I mean, it is beyond disrespectful and reprehensible for people to just walk in, take over something that's not theirs, and then demand people around. Being that I don't work at a coffee shop, I would be very good at any job that I did, but if I was a frequent visitor to a location, I will speak up if someone's disrespect. Like, if someone's at a bowling alley, a bowling center, and they're being assholes on the lane and like throwing shit around, I'm going to walk over, even though it's not my bowling center, and be like, hey, show some respect for the property, right?
Yeah, I would cower in a corner. I'm
not cowering in a corner.
Oh, no. I hate confrontation.
I almost got in a fight at bowling the other day with a girl.
Wow.
But with her birthday, she said. There's a thing
in
bowling.
That you're entitled to be an asshole on your birthday.
There's a thing in bowling called lane courtesy. And it's one of the first things that I taught my niece and nephew the one time I took them bowling, which was the first time ever. I said, there's 2 things you need to know. You don't cross that line, ever, the foul line. Yep. You never cross that line. And 2, if you're going to bowl, you have to look to your right and look to your left. If someone else is about to bowl, you wait your turn. Okay,
That's right.
Well, we're bowling in a league, and when you're in a league, you should already know this. Well, she was bowling to the right, and I noticed a few times she was being disrespectful by not showing lane courtesy to other people we were bowling against. And then finally, at the end of the night, it was my turn. I'm up on the right lane. She's on a lane to the right of me. She doesn't even look over at me as she steps up, but then she lets the guy go on the right lane to her. She's like, oh, you go ahead. And I was like, hey, I'm here too. And she's like, excuse me?
Do you think that was ignorance, though? Do you think she just has no idea that there's such a thing as lane courtesy?
Yes, she was a sub for her team, but it's her team's responsibility to educate. Like, if I have a teammate who's new, I'm going to tell them about lane courtesy. They'll do it once and they'll never do it again because you explain it to them. Well, I just said, hey, I'm here. And she's like, excuse me? I'm like, yes, it's called lane courtesy. And she got offended and she puts the ball down and she gets up in my face and she hesitates and stutters and looks at my shirt, which says I shoot raw. And I knew where she was going to go. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, first off, don't go and start making it personal about something that it's not. That's not where we're going. She's like, what does that mean? You have venereal disease? I'm like, no, herpes.
Oh my God.
I'm like, and I got it from you, And she's calling over her boyfriend who doesn't want to stand up.
Oh my God.
Of
course not.
Mind you, I'm wearing, an I Shoot Raw shirt and I've got these big arms. I'm not going to fight. I'm not a fighter. I don't want to fucking fight. I don't want to get in an altercation. One, I don't want to get punched in the face. Two, I might actually hurt someone. I don't know what I will do to someone, but I never flip out. I never get angry enough to really want to physically hurt someone. But whatever. I played hockey. I can defend myself. So one of her teammates comes up and he's like, yeah, he's right. And then he's like, but she is a woman and women go first. I'm like, no, lane courtesy is lane courtesy. She's like, it's my birthday. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Who
what
cares?
Day it is. I'm like, it's called lane courtesy. Now go fuck
lane
off.
Lane courtesy unless it's your birthday.
Yeah. Just because it's your birthday. And she was drunk and I'm not a fan of drunkards. And that's part of when you're working in a bowling, when you're in a league with people that just show up to bowl and they're not like interested in it, they don't take it seriously.
Yeah, well, bowling in general, you're kind of there for the fun around just throwing the ball.
Well, anyway, to bring it back to this coffee shop, if I was sitting in a coffee shop, and I've done things in places that I frequent because I respect the people there, if someone's being disrespectful, I might have something to say. I might. And if this is happening, like if something like this is happening, or when someone talks down on someone, I'm like, hey, dude, fuck off. Like, because it was the same thing that used to happen when I was in elementary school or junior high school. I always would defend the kid that couldn't defend themselves. The nerds. I would try to toughen them up and stuff. I did my fair share of bullying, but I also didn't like disrespect when they would like make fun of the kids for no particular reason, and the kids are super sensitive and they just fucking hammer them. I'll defend those kids. And it came back. I had a kid try to hit me with his crutch one day. I know.
Wait, were you bullying the kid with the crutch?
Nah, fuck that kid. He was from New York. He was an asshole at the time. No, what happened is there was a Baby Huey type kid, and he's big kid, 4th grade.
Okay.
Just very quiet and shy, right? And he did really bad on a test, and the teacher was being an asshole. This teacher, Miss Cartwright, changed her name to Skino when she got married. She was a piece of shit. She was announcing kids' grades, and they would say, yes, read it or don't read it. No, she asked first. If we wanted that. And he thought he did really well on a test. And so instead of saying, I'm going to, why don't we talk after, which is damning enough as it is, she read like 56, right? An F. Kid gets up, he cries, he runs out of the room. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why?
Like, why would you do that? I'm like 4th grade. I'm like, why would you say that? Like, come up with it. He did terrible. Why are you going to embarrass him? Why don't you just say something like, hey, we're going to talk. I think there was an issue with your test. Let's talk after the fact. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
but putting people in that kind of position, like grade school kids in that kind of position, that sucks.
I remember another one. Miss Skiho was getting married. Nancy, her Cartwright, whatever her name was. Well, that's what the kids called her, Skiho, because that was her new name when she came in. I didn't like her. But anyway, there was a substitute, and I was wearing a tank top. And I think the substitute teacher said something to me like, why would you wear a tank top if you have nothing to put in them? like arms.
Wow.
And I might have snapped back with, well, why are you wearing a bra? And this is fourth grade, fifth grade, if you have nothing to put in it. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't remember. Can we bring it back to this story?
Yeah, well, you clearly have some childhood trauma you need to talk about. I don't know.
It's not even trauma. No, I hate when, if you want to go there, I hate when people talk about, oh, you need to deal with your past trauma. Like, I'm dealing with past trauma. No, that's called childhood. That's called life, right? Like, get over it and just fucking grow up. So what's the moral of the story here, Vanessa?
The moral of the story is don't be an asshole, which I feel like you understand. That's the moral of the story.
Are you saying that I'm an asshole and I know what it's like?
No, I'm saying that photographers have lots of opportunities to be an asshole, and so do human beings, and we just really need to start thinking about what we're doing. Not every wedding trend or thing you see on social media is great to repeat or do in different places.
That is the thing. There's so much disrespect for other people's property. Or thinking that you're entitled, the entitlement of being able to go and do whatever you want because it's a wedding, it's my wedding day, and
or it's my birthday.
Right?
No,
or it's my birthday.
Who cares?
So here's how it works. There's public and private places. Now this is talking about the United States. I don't know the rules in Paris. I know actually I'm pretty sure I know the rules in Paris. You're not supposed to take pictures of other people without their permission. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But here in the States, if you're in a public place, you're choosing to be in a public place, and there's no expectation of privacy. Those are the key terms when it comes to privacy, public and private. If there is an expectation of privacy, you're in your house, you are changing behind. You're in your bedroom and someone is filming through your window into your bedroom. That is a problem because there's an expectation of privacy in your house. If you're at a park and it's a public park, there's no expectation of privacy even if you're breastfeeding. But there's tact. And one of the things you wouldn't do is go up and photograph a woman breastfeeding, even though you shouldn't unless she asks for it.
Yeah. But in this case, no, you really can't go into a place of business, private, that sells the thing that you're doing as an experience.
That's stealing.
That's theft of service. And then also prevent them from making money because you're causing such a havoc.
I think
such a scene.
They're like, I know you said they were shocked, but if there's like a manager around, if there is someone around, they need to just be like, nope. Get the fuck out of here. You're more than welcome to all buy coffee. You're more than welcome to sit in the chairs. You're more than welcome to officiate from over there in the fucking corner. Actually, probably not because we charge for weddings, by the way. So no, get the fuck out right now. Get out of here or we're calling the cops because you are trespassing without permission and you're stealing our services.
So true.
There is a lot of entitlement, though, and there's also a lot of, and you mentioned it earlier, the cancel culture, which I actually think has thankfully been pulled back on slightly. I think there's been a major backlash and a rubber banding or boomeranging back the other way. And it's not saying to be disrespectful. It's saying that some people took it way too far. And you said earlier, you make mistakes. You make mistakes within reason. You make mistakes, and then you can't be held liable for every little subtle thing that you've done for the rest of your life. At some point, it's like, yeah, I fucked up. Like Kevin Hart all those years ago when they wanted him to be on the Emmys or whatever they wanted him to do. And then they pulled up this gay jokes that he made way back in the day. And he's like, I already addressed this. I'm not apologizing again. I said some dumb shit when I was much younger in comedy, in jokes, or in life. And I apologized for it. I was stupid. I've grown up. I'm not apologizing again. If you can't handle that, fuck you. I'm going home. And that's where it's at. People said dumb shit. Like growing up, we didn't have
especially in comedy. Oh my gosh. Comedy, forget it. You were supposed to make fun of absolutely everyone.
I love raunchy comedy. I love comedy that's vulgar. I love comedy that makes fun of people. That's called comedy. If you don't want, and I listened to some comedians talk about this in the past where they're like, back in the day, you would say a joke and it stayed inside of the four walls. Or people would tell their friends. But now you have people that would never, ever come to your show getting offended for something you said at a show that they would never buy a ticket for, and it's not geared towards them. It's like the whole Shane Gillis thing right now. He was on Saturday Night Live, got picked to be there, then got backlash for something that he did, and now he's hosting Saturday Night Live coming up because it's swung all the way back around because he got a big following because people were like, it's comedy, guys. It's comedy.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway.
And we do have to learn to laugh, like every once in a while. Like we all need to laugh at ourselves.
I like laughing.
You know?
I like Andrew Dice Clay. He's funny, and it's a shtick.
I love him. Yeah,
and it's a funny shtick. So
I was in the Comedy Cellar in New York, and he randomly showed up one day.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Are you the people that were waiting for the picture? Because that's his new thing. He walks around New York City with his like filming random people, going up to random people like and asking if they were the ones who wanted his picture. Most people don't know who he is. Occasionally someone plays into it. And I'm hoping one day I'm walking around and I see them making that thing and I'm like, hey, I'm here for the picture. Are you the guy? Are you the guy that's doing the pictures? And that's the thing with comedy is you gotta play. It's a game. They love feeding off of each other, and that's what improv is. It's all about feeding off of each other, like Larry David. It's all that show is mostly improv, and so those actors they're so good at it.
I was gonna say they're so talented, especially improv. It's ridiculous.
Yes,
ridiculous.
Anything coming up for you that you want to talk about before we continue on with my show?
I'm doing a photo trip to Croatia this year. I have 6 spots left, bringing a super awesome model. It's going to be great.
Am I your model?
No, you're not my model. No.
I'm a model.
No one would come if you were my model.
That's not true. I command high value, high ticket prices. People will just be there just to say hi to me. Like, oh my God, it's you.
It's true. But now we're going to Croatia in August. I'm really excited. We did Italy last year, and testament to how awesome my photo trips are, more than half of them immediately registered to go to Croatia. So
that's crazy. How much is it?
I think it's like $3,500, $3,600, includes all hotel. Yeah, no, it's like
what
nothing.
Kind of hotels though? Nice hotels?
It's like nicer hotels. Yeah. Hotels at American standard hotels, not like super small.
Because it's funny because a little while ago there was this couple that would run these trips and they're younger in their late 20s or early 30s. And they're like, we stay in 2-star hotels. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to cut it for a trip. No wonder why your trip is $2,000 for 8 days.
Yeah, no.
It's not going to cut it.
No, it's 3- and 4-star hotels. And then a lot of the food is included and then all transportation and it's a lot of fun. It's really great. We learn some stuff. We shoot some stuff. And then we also see, it's not like all photography all day long because, cameras are heavy and we have like other things in life. And
not if you have a Fuji X100 Vanessa, then they're not heavy.
This is true. I've heard everyone raving about that camera. I'm waiting for Canon to come out with like a digital version with the body of like a Canon AE1. That's what I want.
Why?
I want it so bad.
Go buy a Nikon. Go buy a Nikon.
Why?
Well, they made that. I don't think there's any reason. The only thing I would suggest is if they did make a camera like I think just copy the Fuji X100 6 in some ways. Put a full frame sensor in there. Call it a day. But they, if someone came out with a cheaper version. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this. I may have already talked. I don't know where I talked about this. I don't know where I'm putting your interview.
You haven't talked about it yet.
But it's I either did or I didn't. But it's going to be in there where I'm talking about pricing on this thing.
Awesome.
And we can talk offline about that.
Okay. We can.
What'd you name your dog?
Loki.
Loki. Why?
Yeah, I like bad boys that turn good.
Oh, look at her. She's blushing right now. She's like, oh, Loki. Oh, hey.
That is not how I think of my dog.
I can see the role playing now late at night, not with your dog. I can see the
okay.
leather.
I see where we're going with this.
I can see the leather. I can see.
Wait, on who? Who's wearing the leather?
You.
Why would I be wearing the leather?
Because you're going to be like whips and like, get to it, Loki. Bad boy, let's go. Let's go.
I don't know about that. Maybe latex. I have a latex dress that I did a photo shoot with. It's on my YouTube channel.
Really? I'm going to and if you want to watch Vanessa teaching yoga and just because you want to learn yoga for photographers, I mean, that's a great watch right there.
Yogaforphotographers.com.
Yoga pants are involved there. I like yoga pants. I wear yoga pants.
I'm so proud of you.
Deb wears yoga
way to
pants.
embrace that.
Yeah. Well, when I go to yoga, I wear yoga pants. I do wear shorts because it's just like, it's one thing for girls to show off everything, I guess. guys, like, I guess I could.
I mean, they're comfortable. They're super comfortable to be in.
My ass is huge. And, well, there's some other girls that have huge asses there, too. It's more the front junk. It's just like, you know, are you supposed to have your front junk out? I mean, girls have their front junk out all the time.
You know, I feel like that's a personal decision you're going to have to make for yourself.
I mean, I really want to be in there and be like, hey, guys, is it nude yoga day?
I mean, there's a lot of that. You could totally do that.
Yeah, guys, Google nude yoga. Google nude yoga.
It's a thing for sure. Yes,
I've Googled
it is.
I was like,
it is probably in your area, no less.
Really? I've never seen it in my area, though.
You're in Philly. There has to be some of those classes around. There has to be.
Yoga Philly. And now
he's like, meetup.com. Here I come.
Do you know what? Do you now see what Steven goes through when I go and go off topic here?
Yeah, I can see him trying to wrangle you in. I'm going to let you go. Like you go for it. This is your show.
This is my show. Naked yoga in Philly. I live 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia, and I can't find a studio that does naked yoga anywhere besides my house. But I'm not risking that when I live with 5 other people. Anyone know of a studio near Philly that does naked yoga? Naked group yoga is a thing? Here's a great resource for looking up nude yoga classes location. I'm not clicking on that link.
You don't do that. You're going to ruin your algorithm.
I'm not going to do
ruin
that.
It.
Top 10 nude yoga places in Philadelphia by Yelp.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah, but I think these are just Chung Dam Spa and Fitness, Island Spa and Sauna. No, there's no way that these are just yoga places. That's all. Anyway, can we get back? I'm going to get back to the show. I appreciate you filling in.
You go back to the show
a little bit for Steven and coming on here, and hopefully I don't screw up the rest of the show.
No, you'll do a good job. I mean, Steven might be mad at you for all the editing, but that's okay.
There's not going to be editing. I don't know how to edit in Audition, so.
Oh, we're just posting it. Okay.
No. I have to figure out how to cut my audio in with you, and then cut and then paste your audio into the thing. I'll figure it out. I might end up taking it into another editing program, but I'll figure it out.
You got this. You're tech savvy, right? You're not a typical 40-something-year-old.
No, I'm 43.
You can do this.
I can do it. All right, okay, Vanessa. Good. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Vanessa. So there you have it, right? Episode 91, all by myself, and with a little help from my friends, Vanessa Joy. I hope you enjoyed it. You can call or text me, and by call, I really mean you can text me at 313-710-9729. I do need to go look at the text line right now. I've been busy, so I haven't been wishing people happy birthdays every day, but I don't want to be beholden to doing that all the time. So that's it. I think Steven's back next week. I think he gets back Tuesday or Wednesday. I think Wednesday is his first day back to work, maybe, and then we'll have to get to doing the work that we need to get doing. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.